The views and opinions expressed on the Quite Contrary podcast are not those of our sponsors, the Geeks Under the Influence Network, and to be honest, not even really the panelists of this podcast. Come on, guys. This is a bullshit debate podcast, so don't believe anything we say.
Final countermeasures are deployed. All will has all this time. All will has all this time. All this time.
Hey geeks, welcome to a very special sneak preview of our newest podcast coming to the Geeks Under the Influence Network, Quite Contrary. It's a debate show for devil's advocates and bullshitters. I'm your host, Mike the Hobbit Bickett, and to the left of me is a regular panelist on Geeks Under the Influence that's helping me out with this special preview. Fuck you, Hunter's here.
What's up, bitches?
Thank you for coming out and helping me with this very special episode.
This festive episode.
Very festive episode.
Yes.
It is, in fact, festive because the subject at hand is whether or not Santa Claus exists. It made most sense to have that very controversial subject.
Yeah, it's been a debate for years
For years and years, and we're going to cover
Wars
that.
have started over it.
I mean, that's really where all the trouble in the Middle East stems from, is
Yeah.
whether or not Santa exists. You
Yeah,
know?
not just there, everywhere. I mean, like, that's why there's nuclear, like, everything's built up is just the war on Christmas, the war on Santa. So.
I mean, everybody knows about the war on Christmas, and it's mainly because some people don't believe.
it's literally the war on Christmas.
That's literally what is going to bring the world to become this like unlivable wasteland is the war on Christmas.
And that asshole Santa.
Yeah. So basically, to give you guys an idea on how this works, is Hunter and I will rock, paper, scissors. And the winner of said rock, paper, scissors gets to decide whether they're for or against the subject matter. So our opinions they rarely matter anyway, but they matter even less on this podcast. It doesn't matter what we actually believe with any of the subjects that we approach on this podcast. We get basically given a for or against on this podcast. So if, let's say, Hunter wins, he gets to decide whether he's pro the existence of Santa or anti the existence of Santa.
Even though I think it's established in all the honors between us, it's that we both don't believe, but we're going to fight about it. So
You can think that I don't believe in Santa,
all right.
but again, I'm way kinder and
not so dead inside. Is that what
I'm
you're
not so
trying
dead
to say?
inside.
Oh, okay,
I have a youthful glow and a youthful approach to the world. I like to believe that, you know, the world is a much more magical place than apparently you think. You horrible, miserable asshole.
Well, it's the holiday season, so there you go.
It's the holiday season. So we're going to do rock, paper, scissors. Whoever wins gets to choose for or against. So we're doing 1, 2, 3, shoot. Best 2 out of 3. So 1, 2, 3, shoot. Scissors.
Scissors.
1, 2, 3, shoot. Paper.
Rock.
1, 2, 3, shoot. Rock.
Rock.
1, 2, 3, shoot. Paper.
Rock.
Yes. All right. In the spirit of the holidays, I'm excited to discuss why Santa Claus exists. So I'm going to be for the existence of Santa, which
I'll tear that shit apart.
and Hunter will be the Grinch, the Scrooge on this episode.
I don't know why I have to be categorized as that. I'm just gonna defend what I know. God damn it.
You're gonna jerk your bug jism all over Santa Claus.
All over it.
All over Santa Claus. And I'm unfortunately going to be here to witness it. So how this works, basically, I will slate a question as the person that's for, slate a question towards Hunter, debate style. He'll have an opportunity to follow up, and then I will have a retort, and that will lead into general discussion. After we kind of get through that, he'll have a chance to ask me a question of his choosing, to which he'll get to retort to that as well. So that's basically how this works. It's pretty loose and fancy free, as most of the stuff we do on this network tends to be. So my question to you,
All right.
Mr. Hunter, with centuries of examples of Santa existing, being known as Santa Claus or Saint Nicholas or Santa Claus, and centuries of delighted children, children that celebrated Christmas, not with the expectation of getting presents, but Santa Claus coming and giving presents anyway. How can you look at those centuries of examples of the existence of Santa and with your cold, dead heart decide that children are dumb, what they believe in is bullshit, and nothing matters?
Because if you believe in him, then you believe he's an asshole. because not everybody gets stuff. All right, like if you believe in Santa, you believe it actually exists. He is a person that delivers fucking presents. Well, not everybody gets fucking presents, so that means that motherfucker is a classist who selects certain houses and not others. And I'm sorry, I can't believe in somebody that's that much of an asshole. I mean, sorry.
So it's not even that you don't believe he exists. You just are willfully choosing to determine him to be an asshole if he does exist, and therefore are
he would be in politics if he was this much of an asshole. That's the best way I can put it. All right, so I know I don't believe, and I mean
Senator Santa Claus from New
that's right.
Jersey.
That's right.
Yeah.
Only help the wait. This sounds familiar. Never mind.
Let's back away.
Only help the wealthy.
I will have to disagree with you on that point because you discussed like the classes, and some kids get stuff and other kids do not, or they get way less stuff than other
Nothing,
kids.
like literally nothing. Like no fucking tree, nothing. They don't get shit.
Okay, well, there are some kids that their families don't believe in Santa Claus, or they don't celebrate Christmas. You know, if Santa showed up in a Jewish family's home and delivered Christmas candy, the parents would be pissed. And he's not trying to step on any toes.
How does this real Santa know that this is a Jewish family?
Because he's Santa Claus.
So he gets all the way down into the house and then sees, like, oh, okay, never mind.
No, he doesn't break in first. Like that list that he checks twice has like an addendum at the end of all the kids that don't celebrate Christmas.
Right.
And he just like makes sure to like put that into his Google Maps before delivering presents, so he knows not to go.
So
to
he's a
those
religious
houses.
snob then. That's what you're saying.
Not a religious snob. He's respecting the religions of those that don't believe in Santa.
You don't get shit, all right, because you don't follow this.
He doesn't want to.
Sounds like a religious nut to me.
No, he is not trying to parent other people's kids by telling them that his.
Hold on. So you're telling me you come up to a Jewish kid and you said, hey, would you like to get a lot of extra shit? They want to be like, no, you know what? I'm good with whatever. If this Santa believes and not the religion I'm following, I'm fine with him not giving me shit. Are you telling me that? Are you telling me that a kid wouldn't be like, oh, you know, back in the 80s, oh, I don't need a new NES. Like, you know, I know the other kids get it, but I get these small little presents. But because I don't follow Santa's religion.
Let's go back to the Crusades.
Uh-oh.
There were plenty of people that chose not to be Christian and were murdered by not believing in that system because it went against what they were raised to believe or what they chose to believe. And the response to that was death. This isn't even death. This is just you don't get that remote controlled car. Like that's the thing that they're fighting against. So like choosing not to believe in Santa isn't that hard of a stretch.
All right, now we've talked about Santa a little bit, but let's talk about this whole how does he acquire these gifts that he gives to the kids? How's that happen again?
Well, I don't know.
Real Santa.
I don't know.
Real Santa.
Yeah, real Santa. I don't know the specifics per se, but what I can conclude just by guesstimates and what I've seen throughout history is that oftentimes companies that create these toys have an overabundance of these things going into the Christmas season. Right. And so they need to get rid of it somehow, not only for the sake of like the costs of transportation to the dump and everything, but also if they overflood the market, then they're going to lose value of the toy. So all these extra toys, they basically give up to Santa to redistribute in a socialist style approach.
So you're saying like back in '85, every kid got the ET Atari games, you know, and then the rest got thrown in the dumps.
Well, no, he's not going to give the ET Atari game to kids that don't have an Atari.
Which would be kind of fucked up, by the way.
Like,
here's a game cartridge. Just save up to get the fucking system.
Yeah. Good luck playing it, you poor
Again,
little child.
makes Santa even more of an asshole. All
No,
right.
that's the thing, he's not
Here's a
doing
controller. Just wait for the console next year.
You realize how much time and energy and attention to detail that Santa has to have in order to make sure he doesn't deliver the Atari ET cartridge to the wrong house, or he doesn't show up in a Jewish household with stocking stuffers.
How the fuck does he do this in one night? And again, we're talking about the entire world, right?
The entire world of those that believe in Santa. There's large.
Oh, that's right. I
populations.
forgot. It's he's very selective. I forgot about that.
Like,
so.
think about the largest population on Earth, China. How many people in China believe in Santa Claus? Way less than the United States, for sure.
Oh, so you're saying he just doesn't even deal with China at
No,
all?
I don't think he like skips over people that believe in Santa.
Dude, just one house. One fucking house in China. He's got to deal with China. He's got to go to China.
he's
right?
got to like
One fucking house.
he's got to fly into China, drop off on
Yeah.
that house, be like, see
Right.
ya. But there's outlying like
Have
islands
you-
and stuff that he's got to be on the way at some
Okay.
point
Where's the farthest you've flown?
across the country.
Cross country.
Yeah.
And that took like 2 minutes, right?
No, because we don't have the capabilities that Santa
super
has.
speed now. That's
No, not super speed. Because again, with the attention to detail, I don't think it would work very well for Santa
All right.
to act with super speed. The same magical uses that he utilizes to make reindeer fly and make the sled fly also has the ability to bend space time.
I was waiting for a TARDIS reference. This is what's happening.
It's very
You're
similar.
saying Santa is pretty much the doctor, now.
I wouldn't say that he's the doctor, but
Like a fat, overweight doctor.
he might be like a quarter Time Lord on his dad's side or something. Like there might be some stuff happening there. I wouldn't be surprised if Santa's sleigh was Sonic. That's what I'm saying.
You're giving way too much credit. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think you're giving enough credit.
No, there's no way either he's an asshole, he's got these magic abilities, but he excludes people out. I'm just saying, if he was actually real, I'd be really worried about him. And again, where's he chilling out then? Where's his base of operations?
Much like the Fortress of Solitude, Santa is posted up in the North Pole,
Okay.
and I'm even gonna like cut in line and take away one of your points of like, well, then how has nobody found the North Pole like his setup yet? Is that
It's just really cold. Nobody.
well, there's not a lot of traffic out there.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
and so even overflying planes that check out the area, the visibility in the North Pole is very low because of the amount of snow and cold that's up there. So, and also low light. There's very low light in the North Pole. So being able to actually properly visually get confirmation on his workshop is very difficult, even with modern technology.
I mean, like, nobody would fucking find this place. Like, come on.
Well, think about it. The capabilities to find Santa's workshop have only been available for the past, 25 years? 30 years? We've had planes longer than that, but not ones with proper radar able to properly search for Santa. So as these technologies are developed, so has Santa's. He's got a backlog of toys, and think about it. He's probably not getting rid of all the toys with every swoop into the world. So all these vintage toys, as they get popular, I wouldn't be surprised if Santa had an eBay account and was selling these things to properly finance.
I don't know about that. So you're saying he's selling some shit in order to give away shit?
Yeah, but that's the kind of his whole point with, as you mentioned, that
So he's got to make a profit margin.
the more wealthy get better toys than the less wealthy, but ultimately the more wealthy spend some money, the monies on the eBay to
You're
get
making
him to
worse and worse here. He's
worse and worse.
It's just a corporation now. He's just a fucking stooge. Like, he's just pretty much he works for the corporation.
Look, even nonprofits got to turn a dime, and he's got to. I mean, he's got so many elves working for him. He's got to feed them.
Well, and obviously he gets that tax break because being connected with a religion, like, he's not gonna have to pay taxes on half this shit.
I don't think there's really like a governmental system in the North Pole. Like, I don't think that's claimed.
That's true.
So,
All right.
like, I don't think he actually has any kind of taxation going on. He does need money in order for just normal facility costs. Like he's got to pay the hamsters that run on the wheels to get the power to run, because I doubt he's on the grid up there.
No. There's some fucking tortured elves that are making that power go.
Those elves-
the dark secrets of Santa. All right, like, there's a basement in his home that you just don't want to visit. All right.
This isn't a Nike factory. This is the North Pole. These elves.
No, they wish they were a Nike factory. How much shit is he pulling out that one night? They got to make a fuck ton of stuff. That's a lot of power.
I
That's
will
a lot of dead elves.
reference the documentary Elf for an example on that. There are 3 jobs that elves have: cobbling shoes, making cookies in a tree, which is very dangerous,
Very
and then
dangerous.
what's known as the Big Show is Santa's workshop. It is every elf's dream to work in Santa's workshop. It's not something that they begrudgingly do or do because they're forced to.
Elf is just a propaganda film for that.
It's like the
they get
triumph
there-
of the will
That's
of
what I'm
Santa
saying.
Claus.
Is they get in there and they go, "I saw this Elf movie. It looks like a lot of fun." He's like, "Yeah, come down here real quick," and then There you go.
And then like Buffalo Bills, it puts the
Pretty
toy
much.
box in the
It
sled.
spins the wheel where it gets the hose again. Like, yeah, there's a lot of fucked up shit you don't know. Again, if he's real, you might be leaning a little bit towards that Buffalo Bill status.
See,
right?
and I think
That's a lot of free shit going on.
You're reaching, because if you think a jolly man with a bowl full of jelly for a belly is spending his entire life, immortal life, making sure that kids are happy and that they feel the spirit of Christmas, and in order to do that, he is enslaving an entire race of mythical creatures in order to get these kids their presents. That's against everything that Santa stands for.
I mean, he's got a good public perception. What happens behind the curtains is different. You know, Temple of Doom with all the kids? Take the kids out, put in elves. Exactly the same
So
way.
you're saying that more documentary true to documentary.
Temple of Doom, you just replace the kids with elves. That's what it's like.
Honestly, I would watch that movie. I would watch the shit out of that movie. Now, we kind of ran with it a bit, which I assume will happen regularly on this podcast, but it is your turn to ask a question against my belief in Santa.
All right. So there's one true Santa, right?
Yes.
If that's true, who the fuck are all these guys like at the malls, everywhere like that? Shouldn't Santa be a little bent out of shape about these guys impersonating him in different types of ways? So if there's one true Santa, then shouldn't he just set up one specific mall and just fucking sit there and deal with that shit while, you know, his helpers, as we call them, you know, is making all the shit till he delivers it? You got all these false icons.
False Santa idols.
Yeah. So, who are these guys? Who are these assholes?
These assholes are, to be perfectly honest, simply dudes that are hired by the mall.
Right.
Now, a lot of people think...
What's the need to go see this guy, though? If there's one true Santa, these kids are wasting their time.
Well, there's a misnomer
Make
out there.
the list,
that
send it to Santa and this North Pole that he has.
a lot of parents tell their kids that worry about this not being the real Santa at the mall, that it's not maybe that Santa, but he reports to Santa. That is actually bullshit. The elf helpers.
Did you tell your mom that? This is bullshit,
This is
Mom.
total
I'll do
bullshit.
this for you, but this is bullshit.
No, but what is true is actually the elf helpers are the ones that report to Santa. So the mall Santa has really nothing to do with Santa, but the elf that's standing off on the side that's paying really close attention has
Just typing it up and sending it through.
it's mic'd, dude. It's 2017. Santa's got the voice to text ability possible, so they mic up an elf, send it out to a mall in Boise, Idaho, and then he gets an idea of what these kids want. So it's a way. The space-time continuum is a tricky thing, and he's able to bend it so one night all these kids can get presents. But if all around the world kids at the same time are talking to Santa about what they want for Christmas, he can't freeze time and get that information. It would freeze the kids too. So he needs minions out there getting the information.
So he's
for him.
helping. He's not endangering the children while he gets his list.
Yeah, he's not
Before he sells, or I want to make sure, before he sells all the stuff on eBay to make money, to make the more stuff to give away to the kids. So.
Well, no, I mean, a lot of the toys are donated for a tax write-off by the corporations
There you go.
to
All
Santa. The selling on eBay is more for daily operation costs.
Oh.
Because, I mean, elves, I'm pretty sure they don't shit as much as humans do, but there's got to be, like, costs for disposal of waste. There's going to be costs for keeping the lights on, costs for food. I mean, import of food to the North Pole itself has got to be, like, ridiculously expensive.
All right. So back in the day, a lot of people had horses, carriages, whatever like that. The reindeer with the sled makes sense. But man, why the fuck would he never update that shit? He doesn't need the reindeer anymore. He could literally just have a nice like mini jet or whatever. What's the deal with the reindeer? Why is he still running with the reindeer? He doesn't need magic. He's got technology now.
When ships came over from Europe to the what would be future the United States, they used to keep live chickens and such on the ships because there was no refrigeration. There was no way for them to keep.
Oh, this is taking a dark turn.
No, it's not going to go as dark
Okay,
as,
okay.
I
was a
as
little
you would
worried
like. But much like that, if you're looking at like machinery that Santa has to take care of, these are all things that in the extreme cold of the North Pole would very easily malfunction. Now, you keep the reindeer properly clothed and properly fed and cared for, they're going to last the length of their lives.
They're good little tauntauns.
Yeah, they're basically
until they
just
keel
like,
over.
Just like in Empire,
Yeah.
there were tauntauns
There
that
you
were
go.
able to go out in the extreme cold that the
God damn, I
snow
think I
speeders-
fucking helped you with
Yeah,
that
you
shit.
did.
Son of a bitch. God damn it.
So he relies on these reindeer.
But still, that tauntaun did not last through that night as these reindeer would not. So he's just grabbing reindeer left and right, replacing them instead of just, I don't know, making better, building something with better technology. Instead, he's got like a whole open grave full of dead reindeer because motherfucker doesn't want to work towards technology. Again, I don't know if I want to believe this guy's real.
I think you're trying to make it darker than it actually is. An open grave. Okay, first, it snows way too much for anything to be an open grave for too long in the North Pole.
You're right. There's just a specific area around his house where they don't go.
There's the reindeer graveyard,
Yeah.
yes, and the names of the reindeer are not necessarily their names so much as a title that's attained by the strongest and best reindeer.
All right, so we know the reindeer names. I couldn't repeat them right now, but so when one reindeer keels over, is you just go, now you are the new Blixen or Donner.
Well,
like
I'm assuming again.
so
Santa
at this
intentionally
point,
keeps a lot of this information private.
so we're going on like Rudolph like 327. at
Pretty
this point,
much,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just as they get keel over and stuff like that. He's just giving the name plus the number of what they are. So.
Well, like Rudolph, I'm glad that you mentioned Rudolph because it's very specifically different than the other reindeer. The glowing nose was an evolutionary trait that's been exploited over the years. Much like corgis aren't actually like they were bred to become the way that they are today.
Right.
Same with Rudolph. That over years and years of tinkering with breeding the right reindeer, he ended up with a reindeer that had a shiny nose.
Hold on a second. I don't care how fucking big or whatever. You're talking about lighting up, all right? Like a fucking firefly. Like
Exactly. You just mentioned an organic
right,
creature that
right.
is
So
able
you're
to
saying
light
after
up.
a while, you're just going to find that one. So there's a human out there that potentially has a light up nose, an actual nose that lights up.
No, because that's never been something that we have, like through eugenics, really
So
focused on.
Santa's messing with DNA, testing all the stuff till he finds, again, a fucking huge spotlight could cover this. But instead, he's fucking testing all this shit out on reindeer.
Well, what I'm figuring is that much like the lightning bug lights up to attract mates. So what I'm assuming is that there is a contraption of some sort on Rudolph to keep him aroused throughout Christmas in order for his nose to.
This is a weird turn here. We're turned on reindeer. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Horny Rudolph.
If this guy's real, I'm getting a little terrified now with the tortured elves and now the turned on reindeer to pull a sled. I don't know about this.
You said tortured elves, and you're leading on this weird like. I'm picturing what you're talking about, and it is terrifying. Where there's this like dungeon type situation with these like chained up elves that are being like shirtless, being forced to push a wheel.
You brought up that the fact that there's no grid or anything that reaches there, and he's got to make his power somehow. And I'm just saying, what does he have plenty of? Reindeer and elves. So it's not so happy in some parts of the North Pole, all right? If this guy's real, there's a few things that are wrong.
I'm beginning to worry about your outlook on life because you are so determined to turn everything about Santa so dark and so
I'm just
selfish.
saying the reality of an actual Santa is kind of scary because of how he picks and chooses who he gives presents to, how he gets the stuff he does, the non-necessary sled being pulled by these reindeer. If this guy's real, like there's some deep dark secrets with this guy, all right? I like the I like the movie Santa Claus. I enjoyed that Santa, but an actual Santa Claus.
So you like Tim Allen as Santa Claus?
No. Oh, god damn it. I did slip on that when I said the Santa Claus. I forgot. That's the exact title.
Yes.
I like the idea of Santa. I like the fictional movies of Santa. But him as an actual person, like eventually he would change stuff up, and he hasn't, so he can't be real. Because he'd be an asshole. He'd be picking on kids left and right and not giving them shit.
There is also, and this has not been confirmed, by those aware of Santa's existence. But much like the Santa Claus, there has been a discussion, just like the reindeer.
The Santa Claus, as in Tim Allen?
Yes,
Are we back to that?
Yes, we're back to
Okay.
that. That much like the reindeer, where it's a moniker that's taken up by the new reindeer, as one passes, and is very lovingly buried in honor,
Right.
for their time pulling Santa's sleigh. It's a well honored
So
title.
you're not just there's not one true Santa, but
Well, I think there is one true Santa
God,
at a time.
we are veering right into that movie, and that
You're
Tim
not
Allen
liking
movie, and I'm trying to pull away from that as much as possible. Oh, all right.
Santa Claus started in a time where magic did exist. I mean, I think we can both agree that magic is real and did exist before technology.
All right.
And as the internet and technology took over, magic has started to die out. We both know this. This is a cold hard fact.
This is what we learned in that Elf movie that you were talking about.
I learned it in school. Like, I don't know. Granted, I went to private school until like 5th grade, but
Special private school where they
special-
told you
special-
magic. There's magic everywhere.
yes, there is magic everywhere.
And if you touch yourself, then the magic disappears.
I mean, have you listened to Tool? Magic exists. I'm just saying, nobody can play like that. And Rush. So it may have been that Santa was immortal to a certain degree. His longevity based on the Christmas spirit and people's belief in Santa Claus. But as time has come on, much like Wolverine and Logan, that you just can only live for so long without people believing in
Are
you.
you telling me that Wolverine actually exists? I'll believe in Wolverine. All right, I'll fucking believe in Wolverine. Goddamn.
You will believe in Wolverine,
Yes,
the
yes,
Wolverine from
yes,
X-Men, but
yes.
you will not believe in Santa Claus.
Nope. No.
That is unfortunate.
No. There's a better chance of getting the metal claws in somebody than a guy flying around with fucking reindeer and elves making shit. So I believe in Wolverine. God damn it. He's around somewhere.
Now, I'm positing a possibility here. What if Wolverine and Santa are the same person?
No, Wolverine's too cool for that.
Too cool to
Yeah,
be Santa?
Yeah,
and he doesn't
no.
give nearly much of a fuck about kids.
That's right.
He gives more of a fuck in his old age. but-
Kids would go in and unwrap, and it would be a fucking leftover cigar or an empty can of beer. Fucking Wolverine was Santa, all right? Like, they would get the worst fucking presents
I don't know.
ever.
There would be some kids that'd be stoked about that.
Oh, really? No, an empty can of beer?
Oh, empty can, probably not. Like half
Look
empty
at
can.
it. All right, yeah, I guess there are a few sips. But again, that would be, look, if you're hoping for, again, a, Xbox, and you open up a present with a, can of beer with 2 sips left in it, I don't think you would be like, oh, this is much better than a fucking Xbox. Thank you, Santa Wolverine.
I really want Wolverine to be Santa Claus now.
It is kind of awesome. I'm not
Also,
thinking about
it would keep the reindeer in line. All they would hear is snicked behind them. They're like, okay, no, it's cool. It's cool.
I'll give you one more chance. I just see the 2 claws popped out. You get one more chance. You fuck this up. There you go.
Looks like Santa's eating venison tonight.
Well, he does have that open grave we talked about earlier. So.
You think it's open grave. I think it's a time-honored burial ground for Santa's.
I mean, come on, he's not making
reindeer.
a fucking tombstone for every goddamn reindeer.
No.
They're like tauntauns. When it gets cold, they're just falling over. Left
Santa
and right.
doesn't do shit except on Christmas. He's got elves to do that. There are probably gravedigger elves that their entire job is to.
That's right, and they enjoy that task. They don't want to make fucking toys. They want to bury dead reindeer. That's what they've worked up to. Remember we were talking earlier about there's 3 tasks. That's the one task they don't talk about. There's the toy makers and then the reindeer burying elves. All right, so pretty much that's the gig that they don't mention. But I mean, that's the reality of it. All right.
Well, there's also there's plenty of jobs, but it's just like any industry. I mean, there's plenty of people doing jobs in the United States that they're not exactly stoked on, like sanitation. I mentioned before that there's got to be shit scrubber elves that clean the toilets and also pump all the elf shit out of Santa's workshop.
You get moved from making shoes or living in the house making cookies or whatever. You get to the North Pole and you're like, this is it. This is the big time. This is my gig. They go, here's a shovel, and you're like, how do you build toys with a shovel? They go, over there, start burying them fucking reindeer. Like, that's not what they went to the North Pole for. Like, that's what's fucked up. These guys were sold, they're building toys, singing songs, making
If you
kids
want to
happy.
be a bartender, you start as a bar back first. You got to work your way up to bartender.
Okay, so eventually,
If you want to be a professional baseball player, you don't start playing for the Mets, and hopefully
that's-
and never start playing for the Mets.
that's your
but
intro into it. Is that you bury the dead reindeer and then you get to the toy
then
making.
you build up, and if you're really good at burying dead reindeer, hopefully not too good, because if you're too good, then you're indisposable and you get stuck in
That's
that
what
position.
I'm saying. Like,
But you work your way up to the big show of building the toys for the kids, or like making eggnog for
so
Mr. and
after
Mrs.
these,
Claus.
so the people making the toys that these kids are opening have been burying dead animals and then move on to the next one. So that's their next task, is the important task of making kids happy.
You also have to understand that food is scarce in the North Pole, so I think there's a lot less buried reindeer than you think.
Mainly just hooves and antlers.
Hooves and antlers, probably, and the antlers are oftentimes probably used for toys for the poor kids. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's probably more likely. I mean,
That's again another shitty Christmas present. Wow, reindeer antler. I'm glad this wasn't
that
anything
was
cooler.
fashioned into a slingshot.
I totally didn't want that G.I. Joe battle ship. I got this reindeer antler to walk around with. That's an awful, awful scenario.
Well, I can say in the living room currently, I have a antler. It says elk antler, but it's very possibly a reindeer antler that the dogs fully enjoy. And the amount of dogs in this country alone that have stockings by their over-attentive owners would therefore pretty much take care of the reindeer
there
antler
you go.
problem.
They're covered right there.
Yeah, it's covered.
You have convinced me on that point.
Yeah, okay,
All right.
all
the
right.
dead reindeer do help out and give to the dogs of that needy Christmas dogs.
Needy Christmas dogs, yes. The rest of the deer, I mean, you figure North Pole, there's probably a lot of venison being eaten in the North Pole.
After a while, aren't you gonna get tired of that shit? Like, you know,
Are you tired of tacos? Are you tired of pizza?
if I had it every fucking day, 365 days a year, yes, I probably would get tired.
See, and
of
that is where
tacos.
you and I differ, sir. I don't think I could ever get tired of tacos. And also, there's plenty. If there's enough seasoning on
we're-
anything, you
all
can make
right,
it taste different.
We're doing some challenge. We're gonna do like a 4-month only taco challenge, and
Sign
by
me the
that
fuck up.
by that second week, when you're begging to have anything besides tacos, there we go.
I think you're underestimating what you can do with
Your
tacos.
your love of tacos,
and my love of tacos,
Yeah.
yes. It's a deep.
That is true.
deep-seated-
Taco Bell does have breakfast food now, and that only happens if people really love fucking tacos.
Yeah.
All right, so you might have. All right,
There's
you might
also
win that one.
breakfast pizza. So I mean, there
That's
are
true.
certain foods that you're good with, and also elves. They might have a predisposition for eating reindeer, like to the point where maybe the reindeer are like gated off, like really hardcore.
They're just taking out reindeer anyway. Like, fuck, I'm hungry. And it's the assholes. We've had a slow winter, so they're just kind of like No Country for Old Men, just going up behind, just popping in the back of the head. So we're
might be
gonna
that
eat
one-
good tonight.
That one dumpy elf that's not good at anything, and he's just gotten completely dejected about his role in life, and he just sees this like farm of reindeer that are ready for the big show, and he knows there's that little one with the banged up foot that isn't going to make it. He's like, nobody's going to even miss this one.
This needs to be the true Christmas story. Well, all this stuff, we need to write this down and make this into an actual Christmas movie, like the true tale of Christmas, so people know what's actually going on up there with this guy that actually exists. Again,
Yeah, this guy that
yeah.
totally exists. Yeah. We're getting about 10 minutes away from the final part of this podcast, so I think we need to have a finishing statement from both of us about kind of the reason why we believe what we believe.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay,
I want to
all right.
see. I'm just going to sit back and hear you again convince me of this actually true Santa.
You are going to have your mind changed, sir,
man.
with the words that are coming out of my mouth. A lot of people say Santa is just a feeling, something that you believe in your heart and that kind of makes it real in one way or the other. That is total bullshit. That is some hippie bullshit, to be fair. And because Santa is real, and if you belittle him to the point where you're just saying that he's a feeling, or you're kind of taking away the absolute fucking majesty of Santa Claus, then you're an asshole. Santa Claus is real and has been real for centuries, giving children delight and love and cherished gifts every year out of the kindness of his heart. And he's built an empire just to do that for the building population in this world. like the population is upwards of like what 8 or 9 billion at this point. Like it's ridiculous.
I've lost count.
Yeah, it. I don't think anybody's actually counted.
No,
everyone.
there's my counting.
But
Santa's elves.
It's obviously way bigger than it ever has been before as far as our population on this planet, and Santa Claus has to continue to build up his empire in order to take care of all these kids that are at this point depending on him for just a little bit of a spark in the darkness that is life. You talked about the impoverished, the ones that don't get a lot for Christmas. But you know what? Without Santa Claus, they might not have gotten anything. Without Santa Claus, they might not have any hope. Santa Claus is more than just a feeling. Santa Claus is the embodiment, the living example of hope and love and kindness and fellowship. That is Santa Claus. And to doubt him is to just give in to the cynicism that is running rife through this world, the cynicism that is destroying everything that we hold dear, the optimism that keeps this human race going. Santa's trying to combat that every year by just trying to give a little bit of hope back to mankind. And your attitude, mister,
Who, me?
you specifically, and those like you are why we're going in the dumps. It's not because the gays are getting married. It's not because people are turning away from God. That's all fine.
It's because
It's
don't
because
believe in
you
Santa.
don't believe in Santa. That is the real travesty that's happening in this country right now, is people not believing in motherfucking Santa Claus.
Now, one, I think you stole some of that speech from Rogue One. I don't know what part, but there was something about hope, and anyhow, let's just go with this, all right? I like the idea of Santa. I think it's great during the Christmas time, but he doesn't exist. And I say that because I don't want kids that, the little tiny Tims, the kids that work their ass off, and Christmas morning they wake up and they don't see shit there. They think, well, I guess Santa didn't like me. I'm speaking on their behalf, because if they know that Santa doesn't exist, they know they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't get picked on by this guy that selectively picked the rich family across the town from them. He doesn't exist, so they know they've got to lean on themselves. They've got to build up. Don't just and wait for this dude to make your day great. Make it great anyway. Don't let this fictional Santa Claus control and make you have to just be good to receive stuff, but just be good.
Are you Ayn Randing our Santa discussion?
That's
right now?
right.
Yeah, is that?
And also, the wealth you get. No, I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, let's not make the kids that get nothing think that they fucked up because we're pushing this real fucking Santa on them. All right. Let's just make sure everybody spreads the spirit, help people out. Because if people are fucking dependent on this real Santa to give presents, kids are going to get left out in the cold. That's all that matters. I don't give a fuck about
Out
myself.
in the cold, but I'm bum. Very nice.
So let's just pretty much say there is no actual Santa, but the spirit of Santa is good, as long as we don't make it so kids think they're assholes.
By the way, the spirit of Santa sounds like the name of a schnapps.
Like a delicious spirit of Santa.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to pour a little bit of spirit of Santa in my coffee. All right, so that is our discussion. You should go to our social media, to Twitter or Facebook. For now, just go to the Geeks Under the Influence Facebook or Twitter. You can find the links at GUIpodcast.com and vote. We'll have a poll out to see who won this discussion about the existence of Santa Claus, whether it's The Hobbit or Fuck You Hunter, that won this argument over the existence of said jolly man. So,
or just the in-between, where maybe he exists and he's an asshole.
I might throw a third one in there. Yeah, like he exists, but he's a monster.
Yeah, he's a monster.
He's a fucking monster.
I'm telling you, we need to make the movie.
So definitely go to the social media and vote on that, and we'll come up with results on a actual future episode of Quite Contrary, so you guys can kind of see where allegiances lie when it comes to Santa Claus. Now, leaving this episode, we should definitely have just like an exit conversation outside of the conversation with Santa Claus,
all right,
on what we learned from this conversation. What you learned from me and what I learned from you.
Well, I learned that you will ignore all actual signs and defend Santa even with the terrible, evil things he does, because he might give you, a game cartridge without a console. So he kind of gives you some cool shit, so you still want to believe in him.
That's what you learned.
Yeah.
Is that I'm only believing in Santa Claus because I like stuff.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
like
yeah.
getting stuff. That's
You appreciate the initiative he takes. So
I appreciate his chutzpah.
yeah, yeah.
The Santa chutzpah. What I learned from you is that you have some issues you got to work out. You took something that was filled with so much joy, so much wonderment, so much magic. One of the most magical things that exists on this planet, and you found a way to make it this weird, like 12 Years an Elf kind of story about like
Don't forget about the dead reindeer
and imprisonment and torture and slavery and selfishness and greed and turned everything on its head to make it this just utterly terrifying vision of what it is to be Santa Claus.
I'm just trying not to be ignorant to it. If this person exists, he's not a good person. So that's all I have to say.
I mean, I'll say that all day about God, but this is Santa Claus. This is a different thing.
You can talk shit about God, but what'd you bring to Santa? It's fucking
Dude,
personal.
Lay off the
this
Santa
time
Claus.
it's personal.
That's a different thing entirely, sir. So that is the tail end of this episode of Quite Contrary. We're still, again, tinkering with the length, the subject matter, kind of how we go about things. But that's basically an idea of what you can look forward to after the first of the year. Thank you guys so much for listening. And definitely check out GUIPodcast.com after January 1st. We're going to have a separate stream for the Quite Contrary podcast. So you're going to have to subscribe to that to get the weekly episodes of Quite Contrary. And yes, we will be doing that weekly as well. So as for now, I am Mike the Hobbit Bickett. And this is Fuck You, Hunter.
That's right.
And big thanks goes out to Jonathan Colton for the use of All This Time off of his album Solid State. Do you have any unpopular opinions you want to throw out there for the end?
No, I think I've said my piece at this point. So I can't think of anything else to shit talk Santa on. So
all right. Well, I'm going to say the Santa Claus was an inside job. You have a good night, and we'll see you guys after the first of the year with a new episode of Quite Contrary. Peace.
GUIPodcast.com.
And goodwill towards men.
Merry Christmas.